Hi, it's me, Iris. Iris L, but I really just go by Iris. Um, I'll introduce the L later, but right now I would like to speak to you guys about, something very deep to me, something very important to me, because it's part of the reason why I even became as ambitious as I was. I mean, at some point in my life, I was someone who I was very intimidated by the world, so I would, I'd stay home, but I would really stay home. I didn't even like to do anything at all, like nothing. And, you know, it made me realize deep down that I had to become really self-aware about myself, because there's a lot of things that I was truly prohibiting myself, like after it came to a point where I realized I could be able to have a voice of my own beyond the fact that there are many things in this world that I would consider limit me or would be considered a limitation. I've grown to a point where I would like to confidently say I don't see obstacles anymore, and that realistically, just with careful understanding of myself and courage of who I've become, I can try to decisively believe in myself in any situation, which commonly other people analyze about me that I have something to say about any moment, any time. I'm quite a debating type of person, or I'm argumentative. But I've grown to understand a lot of the experiences in my life and the things that I've gone through, because I've been through a lot, right? And I mean a lot. So that said, I actually had something prepared this time that I had written out to help me figure out some of my ideas that I would like to articulate. And on top of that, I also wanted to be able to express some poetry that I actually wrote today for the message that I was trying to portray, because I just wanted to send the world a positive message. So basically, I've wanted to do this for a very long time, because it took a lot of inner confidence to develop, as I said, and it's mainly dedicated towards the idea of connectivity and becoming more powerful, and finding ways to be able to hold on to the concepts that we've learned up to this point of the now, to be able to develop our lives. And as I already expressed to you guys, it turns out I'm already telling you guys most of what I've already written. I lived a very safe lifestyle. That's what I had wrote here, and that's basically what I meant. Like, I stayed home a lot. I didn't really like to go outside or do anything. Wow, I just there you go. But that truthfully didn't really actually help me, because then I wasn't able to really grow and develop a lot of experiences that to help me understand future situations. And I realized that if I wanted to really grow and develop my passion and understanding, I had to understand mainly what was my greatest concern, which was my mind, because I guess all of us have something in the beginning of our early stages of our years, which we would consider an insecurity, and in my case it was my mind, my communication, and how I articulated myself. So, like every other logical person, I tried following my path towards psychology, and I tried learning it in two different ways, which is both like going through the educational system, and I did go to college like 3 times, and I mean, then there was the other path, which is self-education, which I preferred much more, which was research, and then on top of that, using the research that I've learned and experience and practicing it through my experiences, through my life situations, and seeing through trial and error how people would respond, or even how I would react in those situations. And usually they ended up coming out pretty successful. And I mean, one example of an experiment I can share is my goal is truly to just help influence people. And I remember a year ago, I changed a lot of my social media just to get myself into the mentality of it as influencer, though I wasn't really being influential or productive with it. And I remember recently I was writing poetry, and my 8-year-old sister, who actually happens to have an Instagram herself, she's a young makeup entrepreneur, but she heard me writing my poetry. I'm sorry if I keep touching my face. There's definitely a hair right here on my face. I was just doing my hair today too. So, but she saw me writing my rap, and she was really passionate that she wrote her own. And it was actually extremely impressive. Like, I was impressed, but what really impressed me also was the fact that when she brought it to school and she showed people who were even her teachers and her principal, like, they liked it so much they made her play it on the PA system. And that to me was like, okay, I've succeeded. I know I can influence. If I can influence her, and then her poetry is capable of influencing and stemming others, I've caused a serious ripple reaction. And that is and has only been my goal, is to influence, no different than Martin Luther King or Gandhi or, Mother Teresa. I just want to bring some more love into the world, So, I do apologize if I use some words that may not be relatable through this vlog, but I'll try my best to also define anything that I use that I perceive may be a non-relatable word. So my greatest passion is truly education, and I definitely know that we all can collectively agree on the fact that the educational the educational system can only teach the mind so much. So, I mean, I'm not going to deny that I learned things from school growing up. I find it a little silly when I see people sitting there and saying, like, oh, school taught you nothing. And it's like, well, you wouldn't know how to read or write if you didn't go to school. But, I mean, there is a point at which school does stop providing you more growth than what you can obtain at a average, I guess, 18, like what you learn when you're 18, at the point at which you're 18. And it's at that point at which you choose to keep advancing your education. You can either stop there and continue your career for the rest of your life. You can probably be in a situation in which you don't need to work and you can probably just live stable for the rest of your life. And then there's some people out there who have completely become the greatest capitalists of life because that was their passion. So, I mean, really, your success after school is really dependent on you, and again, being self-aware. So, I grew very passionate about becoming self-educated and understanding that there are many people out there who are still feeling that the point at which it's just hard to live though they are alive. If anyone knows what that means, I usually like to say a term like that. It's like, I guess the way I'll describe it is I sometimes see people who look lifeless, but they're obviously like they're walking, they're living their life, but like they're not, maybe I'll say not happy. And it makes me sad because, I mean, of course there's times when I'm not happy, but when I'm happy, people do tell me I look very happy, and it's because I'm happy. When I'm happy, I'm happy. I try to be as genuine and authentic as I possibly can because I just know that it causes me stress. Because then I have to try to maintain it. And then again, like I mentioned, the ripple, if you start introducing yourself with a facade, then you have to maintain it because other people expect it to be you, because it's probably the most appropriate thing to try to be as authentic with others as possible so that you can find a way to most productively help the community as well as yourself. I'll be honest, my favorite way to understand psychology is through conversation and trial and error. And I guess another way of saying this is living through the understanding of the now. And by that, I mean, well, our reality is very interesting, right? So this reality, which is real, this physical realm within our five senses, every second, every passing second, this now exists, like this moment, right now. Not the past second, not the future second. Now. And I mean, I have here every second passing, this right now exists, not the second pass, and not the second that we anticipate in the future. And as I did also speak about wanting to define words in my past vlogs, but that's because of both my mental growth, helping others grow their vocabulary, and then I have a musical passion too, so I do want to understand how to be able to expand my vocabulary if I want to consider pursuing a musical career myself in the future. And this every second moment here exists because everything else, as which I said past and future, past is just history, which we should study just to understand how to not make mistakes we've made in the past. And then there's imagination, which is future, and that's why it's part of my company brand, imagination. It's within many segments on my website. Which will be included below. All my information will be included below, but imagination is very important because truly once you become self-aware, you become to understand that whether when you wake up in the morning you choose to be positive or negative, you choose to be thinking about what happened in your history that you can no longer control or change, and manifest things about the future with your imagination that haven't even happened yet, and all that time in the now escapes you. I just grew to hope that articulating that in itself will hopefully make people even want to understand how much time we even spend within our own inner world. I was manifesting so many true thoughts about, my experiences that I wasn't allowing myself to go out and experience the world of the now because the economy is constantly changing every day. I mean, as I'm speaking of it now, sometimes I wonder if us like staying so deeply infused in our mind is kind of a way to keep ourselves collectively safe. Because like I said, I just compared it to myself, and I am a human being, so I do spend a lot of time in my head sometimes because I'm trying to understand situations, but I mean, those situations didn't even happen. They're things that I'm thinking, and then you have to consider you don't 100% know everybody. Like, everyone only truly knows themselves, so like, what if they don't actually react the way that you thought about? I mean, all of us can relate to the fact that we've had situations and conversations in our head that never happened the way we completely thought about. Oh, my apologies. That just made me think about the word anticipate, which I did forget to define. Anticipate is meaning regard as possible. So anticipating the future, when I referenced it earlier, we're creating ideas that we think could be possibilities. But again, possibilities might be possible. May not even 100% happen. Not even real and hasn't happened yet. Should only focus on every second of the now. So I guess the reason why I created this is because I want to reach out to all my genetically Homo sapien siblings. And Homo sapien obviously being human being, but just in case you're an age range at which you may have not learned that yet or may have forgotten that, Homo sapien means human. And speak briefly about using your internal vision, which, like I said, is being able to use your imagination more productively, because honestly, I mean, I'm not trying to just suggest we shouldn't visualize things. I'm trying to say we should use our time more productively, because time is truly the truest currency. Like, we literally say as a common statement, time is money. So if you don't know how to invest even in time or people or yourself, I'm not going to say you're not a good investor or you're not going to be successful. Truly, that's all defined within. So so using your imagination as we once did as flourishing, bold, open-minded, and curious children, using the great amount of time that we put in self-educating ourselves. And how I'll compare it to myself is how I educated myself with my mind so that I can truly understand my mental wellness. And I think I've caught on to something, so hopefully we'll see if I can help others with what I've gained over the many years of trying to take care of myself. I'm still trying to find a way to articulate this discovery because being blunt isn't my interest, and I want to respect everyone's viewpoints. And there's still so much that I also need to understand, but if I'm correct, this is heavily connected to what other very successful minds speak of, and the many great legends speak of, and how they speak of their inner courage and how they've developed it. I know strategically I have to break this video up and my ideas inside different segments because there are a lot of ideas, and I do want to give you guys some time to meditate on it and be able to practice some of these and use trial and error for yourself and be able to tell me, even come back and comment, because I need to be able to statistically see if I'm even helping people. And let me know if any of my concepts help for you. Just these ideas, these words that I'm speaking of the now, in this very second, if any of them was perceived, and if you have any questions, I can make new vlogs. If you have anything, just let me know. I'm very much here to oblige, and as part of I can't be able to without understanding you. So, to conclude this, I will say my poem because honestly, it's basically made for someone who you care about out there, anyone that you love. If you love someone, you will send them this video. If you know that they're dealing with mental wellness fluctuating, and you will send them this video. If you are a leader who knows this intellect yourself, you will share this video. If you know anyone living in any issues with controlling their hormones, or as I like to communicate that or as it's commonly communicated, is an addiction. That's I communicated as having issues controlling their hormones, or their chemical processing and what they desire and their temptation. Well, you will send them this, because every second right now, it's all they need to focus on, so that they can productively use their time from this point on to focus on how becoming self-aware and loving first themselves, so that they can become aware of the entire situation that they've surrounded themselves in because of the choices that they made. They will change, because I changed once I chose to become responsible about the choices and decisions I was making. I made a lot of these conscious changes literally I remember December, it was either 30th or 31st, I can't lie, I don't even remember what's the last day of the month for December, but on New Year's Eve, I remember laying down in my bed and thinking, I'm not posting New Year, New Me. I'm waking up and it will be a new me. So, send this if you love someone out there, and you want them to be more passionate about how they care about themselves, and even how they care about the world. And obviously this, from my perspective, considering it helped me really flourish some confidence and thrive with what I feel is my goals and talents, then you will too. I promise. So Here we go. Roses are red, violets are blue. I'll start this off with I love you. From sun come up to some come down. We as one will wear our crowns. From here on out, I promise myself, I love myself like I love someone else. Because I'm great, and so is life. I'll maintain my inner light, develop sight, feel alright, conquer night, challenge flight, and manifest might. I am, I can, I will. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I also want to finish this off with giving a small little shout out to a little collective of people. First shout out I'll give out is to my aunt, who is in paradise, and she's always guiding me spiritually, and my siblings, all three and beyond, but my immediate ones are capable of being around me more and being able to like help me with some of the things that I'm understanding more locally. But I love all my siblings. I remember all of them. I remember everybody in my life. But I'll get to that. And both, yes, those are here, both immediate and those from a distance. All of you collectively have your own flourishing talents, at which filled me with so much pride that I need to be more. From all varying ages. Of course, a huge shout out to my mama for her drill sergeant state of mind. It takes you a couple years to appreciate but I'm here. So a little bit of self-love with that drill mentality, or I guess it should be appropriately referred to as self-discipline. A little bit of self-discipline with love mixed together, and that is a very epic combination of power. Shout out to my best friend who likes to keep themselves uncharted. I don't even need to say your name. You know who you are. You know who you are. Okay. And lastly, big shout out to a psychiatrist, because he's very different from most psychiatrists. He's actually someone who he isn't 100%. He allows me to truly understand myself, because he gravely encourages me to do things that really help me best. And even knowing that, unlike other doctors, beyond just trying to give me any medication, he tries to give me many medical opportunities as far as understanding myself more, because self-awareness is so powerful. No, I can't lie. I'm gonna shout out a couple celebrities, because y'all kind of raised me with the rest of the people that I just mentioned. So I'd like to shout out to J. Cole, Kendrick, Biggie, Pac, Snoop, Cardi, Drake, Toronto. Okay. I'd also like to shout out Doma Wilson, Lauryn Hill, and R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle. I sadly didn't get the chance to understand you until after you had left Earth, but I'd just like to say that and I want to articulate this the best I can, because I want to make sure really comes from within that, we had a similar niche as far as wanting people to, I guess, better themselves. And, all great minds really try to better themselves as well as the community. So thank you for being a very positive influence, because that's very rare. And I apologize for not being able to have the opportunity to understand you before you had passed away. But thank you for being so powerful for us. I could see how much the world very much appreciates you. There's so many names that I honestly forgot. But if I've ever seen or encountered you in my life, I promise you this, I haven't forgotten you. I remember everyone, good energy, any energy. I remember because all situations helped me grow. For those who didn't in the now know this, but I did start my own company and it's named Cardship. The idea flourished from wanting to help someone in a way help themselves become more successful in their definition of success, which in their case was also financially as well as self-aware. And this Cardship was born. I have incorporated a lot of blogs, so make sure you check the link below because that will really also give you a nice quick understanding. There are ones that are really quick to read, so I try to consider everybody out there. And because my true goal in the end is to become the most kind-hearted, well-meaning capitalist. And capitalist just is I'll define that at the end, okay? Capitalist and capitalism, just remember that, okay? And I will grow and expand myself and my wealth, and I will invest time and my wealth into people as I see this world is heavily influenced by supply and demand beyond our political understanding. And lastly, shout out to two people that I know, good friends of mine, very underrated poets. So I'm going to include their link below too as well. I know personally, they're very passionate about their craft, themselves, and their future. So, I mean, it already fit my niche in itself, and I could appreciate that. So I definitely felt, since we've all come from a place that, that I give them a shout out. So check the link below for their art. So I do really thank all of those who are watching this and watched it till the end and are going to share it to someone that they actually care about, because again, like I said, time in the now, like, what's stopping you from, okay, I got like one person I love, let me just copy this link and send it to them. I mean, what's gonna happen? They're gonna look at it and they're either gonna hear my words and say, what is this, and go on with their day, or they're gonna look at it and hear my words and do something with them, just as I have to try to do every single day with my own thoughts as I go out in the world trying to learn others, because I am not on this planet alone. So the last thing I'm doing now is I'm defining the word capitalist as well as capitalism to just end it off with a capitalist being a wealthy person who uses money to invest in a trade and industry for profit in accordance with the principles of capitalism. So capitalism now being an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners of profit rather than by the state. Kind of AKA like how companies can sponsor, and then that's how things get influenced through supply and demand. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I have analyzed a whole lot of different career paths and a whole lot of different ways to go, and I thought to myself, we're all going to either be on the good energy or on the other energy, and if I'm going to be a real influencer, and I know that money influences a lot, I'm going to need a lot, and I'm going to have to help people with it. I'm going to have to share it. I'm going to have to share it. I can't lie, in the end, once my company succeeds to a point at which I can do this, I'm gonna start an idea that I've had flourishing before this company even started, which is a charity idea, because I know one common issue is, well, actually I can't say that part, because The one thing about great ideas is solving an economic issue. So I think this idea definitely will. And once it's flourished, created, and statistically proven to be successful, I will share it globally. You look out. This is Iris, and I appreciate you all listening.